Cool. So let's talk about it. So something brand new in 2026 that we're doing is running what we are calling the Homelessness Fundraiser Student Leadership Summit. Quite a mouthful, I know. The important thing to note here is this is an event Sunday, the 18th of October, and it's the first time we at campus have ever run a public event. We've always traditionally run events as part of a bigger event. So Kim on the line as part of SendCon, which we love being involved in. And we're very conscious running our own event because we see how much Kim does in the background. We're like, oh my goodness, we're volunteering to do a whole lot of work, but Kim does it brilliantly well. Kim, you've inspired us. So that's the first thing. Secondly, typically when we run events, and now we're up to just over 1,600 events, it would be with a partner organization like Beck, with Monzu, it might be with the university, a faculty, etc. But it's always been sort of nestled within an event or with a partner or with a client. This is the first time we've gone out and done something completely publicly. And our motivation to do that came from a conversation I had with a gentleman named Noah Yang. I'll show you a little clip and you can hear from him in a sec. And Noah's the CEO of an organization called We Are Mobilise, who raised money through a whole bunch of different initiatives for homelessness. And I had Noah on the podcast, which was awesome. Great to have him on. And we were talking about this big fundraiser that they do every year. And through Noah's organization, they've raised over $10 million for homelessness. And he was just talking about the problem and the scale of the problem. And I thought, this is a really incredible initiative. We could really get behind this. And why not do what we're typically pretty good at, which is run events and bring student leaders together as a way to contribute to the cause? So there's a few moving bits here, so let me explain. What we're really interested in is running our first big public event to bring students together 100% for charity to raise money for homelessness. So we've locked in a venue in partnership with the NAM scholarship program at the University of Melbourne. We've locked in this beautiful venue on campus that fits 492 students. So it's a very specific number of students coming to an event. And the goal is to make it the best dollar for dollar networking and professional development experience any student leader in Melbourne can have this year. Tickets for this summit are just $36. The reason they're $36 is $36 secures one night of housing for someone experiencing homelessness through We Are Mobilise. So we're not charging any money to do this. We're not being paid to do this. Steph and myself through campus are volunteer fundraisers with We Are Mobilise. And so we're doing this completely pro bono for the next 5 months to make this event work and bring students together. And the point of it is to raise 100 grand for homelessness, which I'm going to explain a little bit about in a sec. Now, what's kind of interesting about this challenge is the reason we're doing it on Sunday, the 18th of October, is the 10 days after that, the charity, We Are Mobilise, who Noah works with, I'll talk to you about in just a sec, they've partnered up with Ned Brockman. Ned is the 2026 Young Australian of the Year, this beautiful specimen with this wonderful blonde mullet. He no longer has the blonde mullet. You may know him if you've watched Netflix's doco called Run, RUNN. This is a little play on words on the double D and the double N on Ned Brockman. So this crazy guy, with all due respect, we'll hear from him later, ran across Australia to raise money for homelessness. So he originally did 50 marathons in 50 days and raised just under 100 grand for homelessness. Hence our 100 grand target is kind of a bit of a throwback to that. But then he literally started in WA and ran across the country. And in doing so, raised nearly $2 million for homelessness, which is pretty incredible. So the organization that he raised money for is We Are Mobilise, and We Are Mobilise are our charity partner for this event where Noah's the CEO. So just so we get all the moving pieces together, charity is We Are Mobilise. We're running this big summit on the 18th. Then for the next day, what Ned and the team kick off is a fundraising challenge called Ned's Uncomfortable Challenge. So how Ned's Uncomfortable Challenge works is, and these dates are from last year, so we're actually ahead of the website update, so just keep that in mind. For 10 days, what they do is they sign up students, workplaces, school students, any old person in the public, and they do something that makes them uncomfortable for 10 days. While that might be running, meditating, getting off screens, studying, who knows. But for 10 days, they do this thing and they raise money for charity. And that's kind of the whole point of the fundraiser. So this has raised millions and millions of dollars for charity, which is really, really cool. And what we're doing is helping them tap into the uni space. And the reason why I'm really excited to speak to student organizations all over Australia, so this is applicable for everyone, the summit's just in Melbourne, but the fundraiser's all over the country, is that they've done really well with schools and really well in workplaces, but the university space, 1.5 million students, is largely untapped. We think it's really valuable for students because it teaches all the employability skills that employers are screaming out for. It teaches resilience, it teaches goal setting, it teaches time management. It's something that you could kind of go viral with as a student on Instagram and your friends would think is cool, but it's also something that you could post on LinkedIn. So today, for example, I ran a marathon yesterday and posted about it on LinkedIn. Now, what does a marathon have to do with leadership development? A whole bunch, actually, I think, because those two things align. Now, we're not saying you take a photo of your breakfast and put it on LinkedIn, but if a student raises money for charity, if they do something for a great cause, that's the sort of thing that we think will impress employers because it directly translates to the employability skills. So what we're hoping to do by bringing student org students together, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this, we've already got more than 220 students already bought into this, is to have the win for the students be employability skills and a great experience. Have the win for the student organizations be getting their students to buy into leadership as service, as you become a leader and you are a leader to the degree in which you help other people. And then all the while raise money for homelessness. So the quick 101, and I'm not an expert on this, I'd let Noah talk about it, but the thing that really stuck with me when it came to looking at homelessness in Australia were these two numbers. The first is 122,000 people in the country experience homelessness, 30,000 of which are in Victoria, which is massive. But the big thing is that almost all of that is hidden. So 6% of the population, is what Noah said to me on the podcast, 6% of the people in Australia who are homeless are the people who you might traditionally think of. So someone's sleeping rough on the street. 94% of that challenge, though, 94% of the 122,000 people who are homeless are hidden. So that's that's a mother fleeing domestic violence. That's a student who's trying to study, but they've been kicked out of their rental. So like an iceberg, the majority of it is hidden. And what we Are Mobilise do as an organization is they bring money together from fundraising initiatives and then partner with more than 50 different organizations on the ground in a direct giving model. So money in from Fundraiser, dollars go out to the organizations to implement the changes that they know already work. And the example Noah gave me on the podcast was a mother flees domestic violence. She is trying to get into accommodation. She gets to the front of the line. She has no access to bank accounts because her partner has frozen her out. She doesn't have the money for rent or bond, so loses access to that house. And what We Are Mobilise can do is work in partnership to get the money to her at the moment she needs it, so her and her kids get access to the housing. So it's this really neat tech financial service that solves this problem in a really effective way. And they just had a bit of research that came out this year that for 82% of the people who they get into housing, those same people are in those same houses more than 6 months later, despite only being put up for the first month. So what they're looking at is in the 30,000 people, say in Victoria, if you can get someone into a house, 82% of the time, they're staying in that house. It's just that initial hurdle of getting them in. It's not funding all the housing. It's just getting them over that first hurdle. So they've already helped 1,500 people in Victoria. So the big quote on their website is they've helped 1,500 people. There's 30,000 people in Victoria. They see it as a solvable problem, which is really, really cool. So Noah, I've literally got a message up from Noah on my phone right now. Noah and I are now texting every single day about this challenge, this summit, everything we're doing, trying to bring students on board. He has seen this work incredibly well with schools and with workplaces and is absolutely pumped about getting it into the uni space. So what we're doing to help, a couple of things. First thing, we're trying, I don't know why I put this in the middle. Part of Ned's Uncomfortable Challenge, we are aiming to bring together 1,000 university students in a fundraising team to raise money. It'd be the biggest team and the biggest fundraiser in the country. So far, if we look at our fundraising team, we've already signed up more than 50 students. So all these students that you see on the screen here, including myself and Steph, we've signed up all of these students just in the past couple of weeks, just through a handful of events. So I wanted to put it in front of a few hundred students and see, are you keen? And overwhelmingly, students are keen to get involved. You'll notice they haven't raised a lot of money yet. I mean, we've raised $2,000, which is pretty cool. But the reason we're not raising money yet is we haven't even gone public. The reason we want to talk to the SEN organizations and the student orgs is we want this to be something that the orgs can have as one of their wins this year. We are going to raise this money. It is going to work. We have enough wins in our sale that we're totally confident of that. We want to get the student orgs on board now in the early days. So it's something they can be like, we helped create this, rather than this is a thing that Josh and Steph did. This is not a Josh and Steph thing. This is over 50 volunteers already, and we're aiming to get over 1,000. So that's number one. So first thing orgs can do is share that big challenge. And for students, it's really simple. Like if you want to get involved, you go join this team, you fill in your details, you put a little challenge that you're interested in, you are in our team, in the fundraiser, you're raising 100 grand. What's super cool about that is if I grab one of these students, so let's say like Hiru, for example, if I jump on Hiru's LinkedIn page, what Hero has done already is she's added raising $100,000 for homelessness to her LinkedIn profile and put this cool little banner up the top. And so the difference from a student who's maybe they're a member of an org, they don't really have any work experience, they don't like their LinkedIn says, you know, I'm an undergrad at blah, blah, blah. By one click and signing up, they now say, well, I'm raising 100 grand for homelessness. How cool is that in a conversation with an employer or a conversation with a friend on campus? How much better does this look as a banner, as a conversation starter, rather than a blank grey box? So for students, what's so cool about it is they get something immediately. Second thing that we're doing as part of like bringing students on board, second thing we're doing is raising the summit, which we've talked about. So the summit is in Victoria at the moment. We're getting our doors banged down at the moment to do a Brisbane and a Sydney this year. We might, I don't know. We're at minimum going to do Melbourne because we've already locked in the venue, the date, and sold 220 tickets. At least in next year, if this is successful, we'll look at doing other cities. We may do it in 2020, 2026. So if there are other cities or people who watch this video who go, yeah, I'm interested in this, I want to support this, I'll give you a venue, we'll help you meet the right people to book in these tickets, then we're open to doing it in other cities as well. I'll run you through the summit in a second. The most important thing here is all the ticket revenue, all the sponsorship, everything that comes in from the summit goes directly to the charity. So for example, on the fundraising page, one of the groups we're working with is St. Hilda's College. St. Hilda's College jumped on board and bought 40 tickets to the summit. $1,500 directly goes through the charity. So it's like, as much as possible, it goes direct to charity, doesn't even come through us. We can invoice and donate on your behalf if you prefer, but like it all goes towards the cause, which is really, really cool. So I mentioned that I want it to be best value for money leadership development. I'm conscious that what I sell as a business is leadership development. We fully believe in training programs and leadership training, but we can't offer something for $36 a head. If Beck has her 10 team members in a room and it's $360 for a day, it doesn't work. I spend more on that on tolls driving across Melbourne. Not really, but basically, right? It just doesn't work. Why this works, and we don't make a single dollar out of this, is the numbers are so big. And because the number, like Kim, imagine if the ticket for Sencon was $36, we'd all be having rice crackers and like that'd be it, right? It just doesn't work. We know that. We can do this as a bargain because we've never done it before and we're trading on all our relationships for free venues, free marketing. It's run by a team of volunteers, including us. So we've erased the cost and erased the barrier so we can do something really unique. So the first thing we think is really good for student leadership development is they're actually going to be in a room with students from all over Melbourne and potentially Victoria as well. I just got off the phone this morning with to keep their privacy, one of the largest student accommodation providers in the entire country. And they said, Josh, we love this. We'll partner with you so regional students have somewhere to stay if they come to the city. So I'm like, that's kind of cool. So we're going to have students from all over the city, all over the state coming together, first and foremost to build their networks. Think Sencon, but for students, and all the money goes to charity. Not to simplify Sencon, but that what makes Sen so special for everyone who watches this video or is on the call is, for me at least, I'll just speak for me, what I love about Sencon, yeah, it's cool to talk about what we do. Yeah, it's cool to learn things, but it's the people, it's the connections. And so being able to make something twice the size of Sencon for student leaders, we think is really, really rare. And it's what students are telling us is the thing that's most appealing. Second thing we're doing is the learning and the development. So on the day, we're partnering up with 10 different homelessness organizations who work on the ground with homelessness in Melbourne to come together and bring their big challenges. What they rarely get are the super brain power of all the university students all over Melbourne. And I say that because we know young people, not that our students are only young, but younger people, majority, they're volunteering less. Less people are in volunteering now than in previous years. It's going down, unfortunately. And so what we want to do is bring the brightest minds together and the biggest hearts together with the organizations actually doing the work so they can sit down and focus on real problems they've got with groups of students in the room. So we've run 7 of these events for the Queensland government. We get about 10 employers and 100 students at a time. Employers come to the room with a big problem. Students like hack away at it, hackathon style over a day. They pitch at the end. We're doing that just entirely focused on the impact sector. So student leaders from all over the city come together, mix up the teams, work with organizations, try to come up with some really cool ideas. And then the final part of it is it doesn't end at the end of the day. After the day, we are at the end of the summit, our kind of Trojan horse is pitching everybody in the room to sign up to do the 10-day fundraiser. So if you keep 2 things in your head, Sunday the 18th is the 1-day summit. The 10 days after that is the fundraiser. The money from both of those things goes towards We Are Mobilise. But our theory of change is give people an obscene amount of value day one that I can convince students it's a good use of their time for the next 10 days to stay involved. And the target of all that is raising 100 grand. So summit-wise, so this is particularly relevant for the Victorian partners, how the summit works, the morning, traditional keynote, a traditional conference. Keynote, welcome to country, some networking, a panel, sort of like understanding the challenge. Basically, I want every student walking away knowing this. I spoke to a guy last week who's raised $160 million for cancer research. And the line he said that stuck with me was so beautiful. He said, Josh, a lot of the students you get to come to this event have not fallen in love with a cause yet. Like the young people, they're figuring out their place in life. They don't have that cause that they do every year that they talk about at the barbecue. So your opportunity is making this cause a cause they really care about. So, which I just thought was a beautiful way of framing it. And so the morning is really showing them that the problem's real, but there are solutions that work. And we want to like show them that, hey guys, if you're looking for purpose and meaning in your life, like who knows what AI is going to do? What AI isn't doing right now is providing housing for people. Whereas there are amazing organizations who do, and there's amazing students in the room. What if we close that gap? Middle of the day is what we talked about before, spending 5 hours with orgs, real problems, coming up with solutions. So I think that like hackathon style. And then the evening, the final bit of the event, 9 till 6, final bit of the event is then moving into the next step. So pitching everyone on signing up to doing the 10-day challenge. Basically, I'm going to stand up at the front of the room with a QR code, point at this web page, and try to convince 500 people to sign up. What my hope is that at the end of this day, instead of there being 50, or by that point, there's probably 400, instead of there being 400, there's 900 students signed up. And I've been testing this at events. So far in an event, I can get about 50% of the students to sign up at an event that is irrelevant to the cause. So they haven't spent a whole day doing it. 30 of these students signed up for an event last week. They had 60 students in the room, and I gave them a 10-minute pitch at the end. This is before Campus Consultancy when I was with Teach for Australia. This was my whole MO. I'd go to campus, I'd run an event, and at the end, I'd convince them to sign up and come to a Teach for Australia info session. So like pitching an audience, something that I'm not uncomfortable doing. So the final bit then, and this is my pitch to anyone watching the video. I mean, we've got Beck here today, which is wonderful. Huge shout out, Beck. But any organizations is, if you're Melbourne based, this is going to sell out. My prediction is at least before the end of the financial year. So we're not even worried about October. I don't even think we'll announce this publicly until it's fully sold out, which is what I refer to as the line of super credibility. So we want to get something that has so much momentum behind it that we don't even tell people really about it publicly until they can't have it anymore. Because then they turn around and go, well, how come we can't have this in Sydney, like in my DMs at the moment? And we say, you could. We'll do more. I'll do another free event in Sydney. I just need a free venue and a couple of hundred tickets and a few more $1,000 for homelessness, and I'm willing to do it. So we're really confident it's going to sell out, but it's only going to sell out with the support of amazing orgs. So as I said before, the tickets are $36. The reason they're $36 is that provides a night of accommodation through We Are Mobilise. That's like how efficient they are. So far, RMIT this morning, which is public because they've all agreed to be public partners. RMIT, I got an email from them this morning. They booked in 100 tickets. So in one email, 100 tickets. It's 100 nights of housing. Monash University, we've got 2 different departments who've booked in for tickets. Gordon down in Geelong near us, and Melbourne Polytechnic. So we've got some TAFEs involved as well, which is super cool. Mannix College and St Hilda's College. So 2 residential colleges have already come on board with more saying they're interested. And the big one, the NAM Scholars Program, NAM secured the venue at the University of Melbourne. So I talked to Matt and the amazing team from NAM. They turned around to their contacts at the uni and said like, hey, we love this. Can we support this with a venue? And they're also sending scholars. So we've already had 220 tickets, my little AI 220 tickets. 220 tickets have already been locked in at an event that fits 492, and it's not till October. I've been talking about this while Steph's in Europe. So I'm solo parenting, about to finish my PhD proposal, trying to run a business. This has been what I've been doing in our free time around that, and the thing's nearly sold out. So I think we've caught, I only say that to say like, I think we've caught lightning in a bottle. I think this is a cause that students care about. Cost of living is the biggest concern on students' list from everything we've seen. There's massive value in getting together. And the fun bit is it all goes to We Are Mobilise, who have DGR status. So if you're donating to We Are Mobilise, you are giving money direct to a charity before the end of financial year. It goes straight towards the cause. It's a PR win, if nothing else, but also the money goes to a beautiful place. To incentivize that beyond tickets as well, you can buy one ticket for 36 bucks, but the bundles are what we're really looking for. Groups of 100, 50, 20, great for student leaders, great for SRCs, great for staff as well. I've had some groups send staff. But the big thing we're adding in is a complimentary partnership package to everyone who gets tickets pre-launch. So your name and your logo on all the event branding. So up on our website for the event. So this is up on our new little website, which is cool. Oh, that's cool. We've got a new little live ticket counter that's up there now. Oh, that's cool. Our web development team is also doing it all pro bono. So huge shout out to Sonder Sites and Tim. So he's helping update the website every day. That's literally been updated since the morning. Wow, it's up to 238. Love that. The thing that's really, really cool is we're making sure we give shout outs to all the orgs. So all the logos you saw there are up on the website. RMIT booked 100 tickets this morning. They're already up on the website. Students are getting shout outs. So we're going to make sure the name is on everything, that you get a bunch of goodwill. I'm also sharing individual LinkedIn posts once we announce it publicly, tagging all the orgs who are buying tickets. We're emailing our list of more than 6,000 students with all the orgs who buy tickets. And at the event, there's space on the day. If you want to activate it, if you want to offer something, if you want to do something cool. We've had a group of students from Deakin who want to do like a whole like Vox Pop Instagrammer like section where people like get little videos and make it all cool student generated. So they're going to do that. So there's heaps and heaps of opportunities. We originally had in here, so you can tell that this is from, I was editing this morning. Originally, we had like, share it with your community. I actually don't think that's even going to be needed now because I think we're going to exceed the summit tickets. The opportunity to share with your community, though, is our 1,000-person fundraiser here when we get into the 10-day challenge. But I know it's confusing because there's two things. There's a summit and the 10-dayer. Right now, we want to lock in that summit. So for Beck, for Sen, for anyone who's listening, if you're interested and you'd like to lock in some tickets for your students, if you're Victoria-based, please send me an email and we'll lock in those tickets for you. Once they're locked in, they're yours and we'll update the tracker. The second thing is if you're in another state and if we need to run more events in more states, we're very happy to. If you want to run another one in another state, let me know. We basically need a venue. Once we've got a venue, we're good to rock and roll. So that's number two. And then the big thing there is the purpose behind it is if we fill the room, we don't just raise the money from the tickets and we don't just raise the money from everyone fundraising, that all that money goes directly to orgs who are helping people get out of homelessness. So that problem being solvable is something that we really, really believe in. So the last little bit of the pitch is, and this is, you've got to bear in mind, Ned Brockman, who inspired this whole thing, like he's the most Aussie you've ever met. So if you think my energy is crazy, get a load of Ned. He caught wind of what we were doing here, is really excited and sent us a quick little video last week to share and to celebrate. And so I'm going to play it for you now as we wrap up the little recording.
G'day guys, Ned Brockman here. The team at NUC and We Are Mobilise are loving the energy from Josh and the Campus Consultancy community, the CCC. We love it. 50 of you already signed up. That is unreal. To every student leader watching this, you're exactly who NUC is built for. You already know how to bring people together and get things done. This October, get behind it and do something bigger than yourselves. Let's help turn this into our biggest team. Get involved, get your university mates, get the entire uni involved. I don't care, just freaking do it. Let's go.
You can tell that we probably are going to get along. So if you're interested, tickets are available now to the summit, sells out. Space on the fundraising team is open. I'll put the links for all those things up so they're available. The easiest one is just to shoot me an email. Like, Josh, what's this about the summit? What's this about the fundraiser? I'll send you all the info and everything you need to get it out and get it shared. But we'd love to have you involved, and this doesn't happen without you. So if you'd like to partner up, if you believe in the mission, please jump on board, and we'd love your support.